Hello, you are warmly welcome back to Steady Right Hub, my dear economics lovers. I happen to chance on this demand equation and I can't do away without calculating it with you, my economic lovers. So I decided to bring it here so that we all find it useful. And I know we all love to work on demand function. This question is just a basic question for all beginners in economics. It requires us to draw a demand curve for the function. The best way to draw the curve for this function is to look at the extremes of the x-axis and the y-axis. The x-axis represents the quantity, which is Q, and the y-axis represents the price, which is P. Now, the only way we can draw this function is to find for extremes of P and Q. So if Q is 0, what is P? If P is 0, what is Q? That is the best way we can draw the curve using the function. Let's first find P. So what is P if Q is 0? Now solution, right? If Q equals 0, it means that Q is 0 here in the function. So 0 equals 600 minus 5p. Now we are looking for p. Therefore, we send p to the other side of the equation. And the sign here is a negative sign. So if it is crossing the equation sign, it automatically becomes a positive figure. So 5p equals 600. We want p to stand alone, therefore we divide through by 5. Now our p equals 120. So our price, this means that our highest price is 120 when Q is 0. So when they are not buying any quantity, the highest price in this equation is 0. So 0 is to 120. So now if P equals 0, what is Q? What is Q if P equals 0? Now Q is equal to 600 and P is 0, so 5 into 0. Q equals 600 minus 0. Now our Q is equal to 600. This means that if there is no price at all, people will be buying 600 quantities of whatever the product is for this equation. So at price 0, quantity is 600. So quantity is 600 at price 0. Having these answers, we can plot these on our curve. And remember, before you can draw any curve for economics, we need our x and y axis. I have my x and y axis neatly drawn here. And I said that the y axis represents price. So price, which is normally represented as px or p. And our quantity is on the x-axis, always on the x-axis, which is represented as Q. Remember that price is always on the y-axis and quantity is always on the x-axis. Price is always on the y-axis, quantity is always on the x-axis. Let's go to our calculation and see how we're going to label each of the axes. Q was 0 and P was 120. So it means that if Q is 0, P should actually be 120. If Q is 0, P should be 120. If P is 0, Q should be 600. If P is 0, Q should be 600. You can now take your ruler and join the point. This actually means that there are other prices in between these, in between 0 and 120, and there are other quantities in between 6 and 600. Yes, so you join the point. So this is our demand curve with a function Q equals 600 minus 5p. Whenever you find a demand function and it requires you that you draw a demand curve for that function, you first of all have to find for the extremes of both quantity and price. In the first place, you make Q 0 and you find for P. So Q 0 equals, when quantity is 0, price is 120. Price is 120 here. When price is 0, what will be the quantity? Quantity is 600. Then after getting these points, you can easily draw your demand curve by representing it on X, the X and Y axis. And I also stated that price is always on the Y axis while quantity is always on the X axis. Please do not interchange. This has always been like that. So we have to keep it this way. Price should always be on the Y axis. Quantity should be on the X axis. All too soon, this brings us to the end of today's section with my dear economics. Kindly subscribe, like, and share this video if you found this video to be helpful. I believe your colleagues will also love to have a share in this course or in this video. So please share with your friends and recommend our channel to your friends as well. Thank you and see you next time.